interesting area, which is the government support. As a key stakeholder and gatekeeper, government support is a key element in ministry development. Over time, how is a supportive relationship engendered, developed, and maintained, resulting in mutual benefit and enhanced impact on program and service levels? This is basically about relationships with the government and how your ministries have benefited either through policy formulations or criminal justice reforms and areas like that. Tuson, want to share? Just 2 minutes, everybody.
Yes, I have something to say. I have shown already how we managed to have very good relations with our government. And I would like to be able to speak about how we were able to keep up these relations. We have continued, in fact, to consult with the government and to show government what are the needs of our prisoners. We have continued to do this. And this, of course, gave rise to many programs which we are steering within prisons. For example, the literacy program, as well as a training program to be able to help with an income in the future. I must say that the relations we have had with government gives credit and credibility to our association. Certain international organizations as well, for example, the French Cooperation Mission of the French Embassy, the Messiahs of Peace, and other institutions as well are financing a fellowship in my country. And therefore we have a network now with other associations who are helping in the criminal justice system. We are therefore working with other organizations to help these prisoners, especially with regards to those prisoners who cannot have legal aid, for example. And therefore, I must say that we must have a transparent organization. We must be rigorous. We must try to be able to take on provisions so that we will be able to have credibility vis-à-vis our partners. This is what we are trying to do, to be able to maintain good relations with government. Thank you.
Stephen, you are in Hong Kong and you're also in China. How does this government aspect of it affect your ministry?
I'll ask back some of the basic question is why you need the government and why you need the resources or why you need the relationship. Building relationships takes a lot of time and effort. Why not just go to the prisoners and help them? Because we want to have a bigger outcomes of the overall benefit for the prisoners and the families, isn't it? I think, say for Hong Kong, government have two roles. As long as you have members, you have volunteers, you can go to prison anytime you want. The problem is that you don't have enough manpower to do whatever you want. I think the role of the government in Hong Kong, one, is to help me to get endorsement, to get a community funding. Because the community funding, they don't know how to spend the money in a good way. Like some of the bankers say, there's never shortage of money, but only shortage for good projects.
Okay.
They mean they don't know how to spend, but we need to have people have the honesty and the ability to spend the money in a good way and make it a good proposal. If you have it and have the government to endorse it, you will get easily for the community funding. I can tell you, everybody talk about you want to get funding from church. The funding from church is quite stable. If you give it to you and some organization, we're going to chop it. But community funding is a project-based funding is quite large that we never tap. I believe that I think we need some more innovative way, finding a new model, how to get the community funding into our ministry. We're preventing crimes. We're helping the we're helping the society get more stable, we can get community funding, and government is our partner. Therefore, I think we need to restructure our thinking and relationship with the government and links up to the community funding and support our ministry.
Right. So it's creativity and how we can add value to what we are doing from the government's perspective, and how the government and the community benefits from the things that Prison Fellowship does. Yeah. Anyone else? Tobias?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the most important, that you have to have a vision and you have to sell that vision to the government.
Right.
You have to show them that you have something to offer to them, something innovative, something they can count on, and something which is useful for them. And then when you start the project, of course, you have to be reliable. You have to show them good outcome.
Right.
And, of course, if you have good media coverage and also mentions that the government supports your project, and then they are thankful for that as well. And the relationship, a good relationship to the government is definitely of mutual benefit. Just last week, the Minister of Justice passed a new law which gives us a much better legal basis for our project. So far, it has only been mentioned in one sentence of the law that such a project as ours is possible, but now our project is part of the law, and for each juvenile prisoner, it has to be decided whether they send them to us or to an open prison or to a closed regime prison. So we benefited in a great way from them, but also they are benefiting from us, and they can say we have done a model project or we are doing a model project.
Right. So you have to earn the confidence of the government in the things that you do. You've got to be very careful. You've got to be very frugal, very prudent in the way you spend your money. And it's all about return on investment, I guess. Yeah. Aurora?
En este momento nosotros estamos en dificultad.
At this time, we are having difficulties with this issue of the direction or management of courts. They're restricting the permits or access very much. Furthermore, there's a threatening a campaign that's being developed. It's not a campaign, but we've been taken to court several times, 3 times, to other people and myself, because we filed a report about the physical deterioration that the infrastructure of the jail was suffering, and the moral and physical impact it has on the inmates. So a way to shut us up was to take us to jail as many times as they could. And we are in that situation in the present. But in other opportunities, we did have a lot of support when we had a campaign, a medical campaign from the government. And on the other side, all the officers attended to different workshops when Mr. Garcia Velez attended. Many officers attended. We've had many beautiful things in the past, but right at the present, the situation is becoming very difficult.
Arthur and Olga, anything else you want to add to this?
No, I think I agree with my colleagues that once you can get the trust of government and they believe in what you're doing and they provide you with the funds to do it, after you have done it, then I think you should return to them and show them, be very accountable. That's my point.
Right.
Be accountable for the money that you spent. And we did that with the halfway house. We built a house, but that was the first halfway house in the Bahamas. And so I wanted some money to bring somebody out there to show us how to run this house. So I found a gentleman in Washington, and I asked him to come to the Bahamas. But I also called Aklilu, and Aklilu went to the home that he was running and to verify if he can run a good home. And when Aklilu had given his, he gave his aspect of it, that the gentleman was good, and I went to the government, and I got all the funding I needed for him to come and train the trainers.
Okay. Arthur?
Yo quería añadir algo, ¿no?
I wanted to add something. that when one of the managers saw that we were doing this project, he said that we had to institutionalize those projects for the volunteers not to believe themselves that they were giving a gift, making a gift to the government.
Okay.